Hello, good evening. It's the Friday night edition of Game On here on News Central Television. My name is Babatunde Koiki. Welcome once again as we look forward to what promises to be a really good weekend of sporting action all across the planet. Of course, there's the Copa America final to look forward to. There's the Euro finals to look forward to. There's the Wimbledon final to look forward to. And of course, there will also be pockets of sporting action and news breaking from all across Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. Don't forget, we're streaming live on YouTube and also on our social media handles. The handle is right there on your screen at News Central TV. And of course, you can catch us on channel 422 on DSTV and channel 274 on Star Times. Welcome once again. It's a full house tonight. I have three great people with me in the studio. Let me start at my far right. Of course, some extremely experienced and respected sports journalist, former media officer of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, former senior special assistant to the former Minister of Sports Development, a man with the man that every one of us pretty much love. I'm talking about none other than Toyin Ibitoye. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Toyin.
Yeah, thank you.
Always
a pleasure. Friday night. Looking forward to an exciting show.
Yeah, we're too excited already, considering the vigorous arguments that was going on before the camera started rolling. But we're talking about that after the break. Was an interesting topic about the future of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I'm sure a lot of people would like to hear
and
about
the different
that
speculations
as well.
And the names.
Exactly, talking about the calculations and permutations regarding the future of the coaching question of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Right beside Toyi is our very own lady in red, looking flamboyant and on fire. I'm talking about our very own Onyinyechi Obaroh. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tunde, for...
I'm grateful you're here because the dangerous one is in the studio. Hopefully you'll be able to water down his...
that's if I don't join them.
Oh, God.
That's if I don't join them in the
Yes, exactly. I was shocked yesterday. Onyinye was violent on the show last night.
Wow.
Surprising. She's always supposed to be the calm person. He shocked me.
The Melo Moon.
He just shocked me. Right beside Onyinye as well, Mr. Diggs. I'm talking about none other than podcaster extraordinaire, and of course the sporting director of Ughelli Rovers, who one day, will make it to the continent. That will make us proud, hopefully. And if that doesn't happen, Wale, we are coming for you because for the past few years that I've known you, you've built a career on pillaring sports administrators, football administrators,
especially.
Constructive. I don't know about the constructive part.
Not destructive.
I do not know about the constructive part, but you've made a career of it. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, it's great to be here. But I think there was one word you should have had it. You said that before we came on the air when I came into the studio. But anyways, moving on.
Which one?
It starts with a D, but it's all good.
Wale, it's a family show. It's a family show.
It's great to be here, but I think the reason why Onyinye was a bit violent in court, yes, it was. She lacked that calming influence.
Oh God, and that's you?
And that's me, yeah.
For the love of God. See, Wale, whatever it is that you're taking, I want some of it.
So because I'm here, so don't worry.
You're definitely high on confidence, and I like that.
So what are the expectations for Wale? Ughelli Rovers must gain promotion here.
Yes,
after
and play on the continent.
And win the
CAF Champions League. Anything less than that,
it is possible.
It is.
I can only blame Barack Obama. He's given every single black man on the planet an overwhelming amount of confidence. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, let's start the show tonight with some news regarding the Olympic Games. Don't forget, it's coming up in just a few days, and our coverage here on News Central promises to be really special. We'll be unveiling all that next week. We're having a special guest coming through the studio. He'll be our senior special correspondent to Paris. He'll be live there at the different venues, bring you live reports, live pictures, live videos, interviews with some of the people, movers and shakers, and of course from Team Nigeria as well. But I'll keep that on the wraps until next week. But let's talk about Team Nigeria heading towards the Olympics, where 4 members of the Nigerian wrestling team have been seeded by United World Wrestling for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. In a groundbreaking move, United World Wrestling has introduced seedings for the top 8 wrestlers in each weight class based on their performances across significant events leading up to the Games. Tokyo Olympic silver medalist and 13-time African champion Blessing Oborududu is seeded 6th in the women's 68 kilogram class. reigning African champion Odunayo Adekuoroye has been seeded third in the women's 57-kilogram division, while Christiana Ogunsoya and Anna Ruben have both been seeded sixth in the women's 53-kilogram and 78-kilogram categories, respectively. Debutants Esther Kolawole and Nigeria's sole male wrestler Ashton Mutua were not seeded. But it's an interesting move. Seedings for the wrestlers. It wasn't that way in the initial way, Toyin. It was just a Shark Tank. Whoever the luck of the draw, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. Last week we spoke about how top seeds should be performing to enhance their status as top players so that they can avoid beating very difficult opponents in the early rounds of competition. I think it was Wale
table tennis we're talking about
Haruna Quadri. So this is good. What this means is that you're going to be avoiding some of the best ranked wrestlers in the world in the early rounds of the contest, and you could be lucky that you start drawing those top seeds when you are on the verge of getting on the podium. So it's good, but at the same time,
kind of like tennis, like kind of like
but it's also very tricky. It's also very tricky because there could be some unknown quantities who have studied you, who understand how you fight, and you take them for granted because they are not top seeds, and then they knock you off. So it's a good one, provided our wrestlers understand that, look, yes, we are seeded, and we have to show that we are top seeds by winning the earlier rounds and then knocking on the door of the knockout phase and then the podium finish.
No surprises that the likes of Blessing Oborududu,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised
really?
that where she was seeded, because she's a silver medalist from the Tokyo Olympic Games. So if you look at, she's seeded sixth out of top 8. She's got a lot of battle in that her weight category. But I'm surprised that they seed her at number 6.
Well, they did say, according to
silver
based
medal.
on their previous performance.
It's based on performances across significant events.
The Olympics was 4 years ago.
Yes. That was Olympics,
So
World Championships.
If you look at the African Games that she has gone through, the World Wrestling,
the African Championships as well.
If you have to count that for the African athletes, she should be seeded even higher than 6.
Yeah, but the problem is the ranking points at the African Games and the World Championships.
At par.
It depends on how she finished at the World Championships, but I don't think she finished in the top 3.
She did not.
She didn't finish in the top 3, so that counts for a lot. Odunayo finished in 3rd place
at the World
Championship, so you can see she's seeded number 3. So World Championship overrides whatever continental. So the more you perform
But there should have been a step up.
You want that to be?
There should have been a step up.
But the fact that she's seeded is great news for her. Ben. She will take it Monday to Saturday, twice on Sundays, because what he ensures, like Tony has said rightly, rightly said, he ensures that at least in the first and second round she would avoid some very difficult guns in there. So that's good for her.
Okay. Well, still talking about Nigeria's Olympic participation and preparations, let's move on to track and field now, where Ruth Usoro, the reigning African Games triple jump champion, made a spectacular return to competition at the Ed Murphey Classic in Memphis, claiming victory in the women's long jump event. In her first appearance since Continental Triumph nearly 4 months ago, Usoro showcased her prowess with a winning leap of 6.70 meters. The Nigerian athlete's performance was particularly impressive, given that she only recorded 2 legal jumps throughout the competition. And despite the limited attempts, Usoro's 6.70 meter jump achieved with no wind assistance was enough to secure top spot on the podium. Shanice Porter claimed second place with a jump of 6.50 meters, while Tara Gittins rounded out the top 3 with a 6.35 meter effort. It's still looking good for Nigerian athletes, especially in the track and field, as they get closer to the Olympic Games, Wale. And considering the fact that Nigeria has 3 athletes in the long jump, Ruth Usoro, Esebrume, and Prestina Ochorogo. Do we say that the numbers might favor us somewhat? Not every country has 3 jumpers in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but sometimes quantity is not enough. Quality is the most important thing.
Oh God.
Look at Yulima Royas. Royas is from Venezuela. I'm not sure Venezuela have got 3 triple.
And there's also Malaika Mihambo from Germany as well.
Exactly, Shanika Ricketts as well. So I think that department is really stacked with quality, and Ruth will need to give extra.
Muhambo is, I think, in the long jump.
Yeah,
she's in the long jump. The triple jump is a little
more, definitely more tricky.
Yeah, Ruth's time doesn't get her on the podium.
Her distance,
right? But then she has shown a lot of improvement over the years, and we are hoping that she can achieve some personal best and probably get close to that 7 meter mark where with some luck, you know, I always remember Chioma Ajunwa's long jump and how she made it to the final. Even Blessing Oborududu, I think in 2008,
True.
How she made it to the final. She made it, Blessing Okagbari, I beg your pardon. She made it to the final because somebody doped and had to be removed from the list of the top 13, and she sneaked in as the 13th best. Because on the day that you are jumping, the angels can lift you. And that was what happened to Chioma Ajunwa. Because after that jump, she couldn't reproduce that jump ever again.
Yeah. Jump of a lifetime.
And all the other guys were just not in the right mood that day. So the angels can lift you and then just drop you.
A divine jump.
And then that could be the only jump. But you need to be able to produce something close to that magical performance on the day. Ruth is improving, and I hope she can also give us some personal best, even if she doesn't end on the podium. Let's see signs that she's making progress in the jump.
I don't even think Ruth is in the top 20 right now.
No, she's
yeah, so let's temper our expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be, you know, in our expectation, be divine. And hope for that divine jump.
That angels will carry her.
No, that's the truth.
I'm just concerned that we are looking towards the heavens.
Divinity.
No, but it happens in the jumps a lot. Yeah, one jump and it's difficult to reproduce in 20, 30 years.
Yeah, but the truth matter is that jumpers like Julia Royas have been in this business for the last couple of years. It's difficult for them to have bad days in the office. Yes, of Venezuela. They bring the A game to the table every time.
Look at Miambo at every game.
She doesn't start well.
She only her last jump.
Last jump just pretty much obliterates the entire
last jump.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that Ruth's last jump, even after
first jump.
Whether it's a first or second, we don't.
Your first jump should be your best jump because that's the one that you put in all your energy and you go for it.
Exactly, because it's an interesting competition.
Styles, actually.
Your first few jumps are usually the one where you have the most energy. Very rarely do you ever see anyone.
There are styles to it. Some people they put a lot into the first jump and then they try to rest. But some people they go all out. They use those jumps to improve. And then
some take a bit of time to get into the groove. And that's why sometimes the last jump is always the best jump.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're just hoping for divine inspiration, according to Toyin. The assistance from heavens for our jumpers. The breeze of God.
Wind assistant.
Interesting one. The breeze of God. Oh God.
To blow you.
Oh my God. That's a new one. And you heard it first here on Game On. The breeze of God to assist our long jump trio. President Chonogo, Ese Brume, and of course Ruth Usoro as well.
And the triple jump for Ruth
and the triple jump as well. Okay, still talking Nigerian sports. Let's get to basketball now. And in some really exciting news. Remember yesterday we were talking about how the Rivers State government was rewarding athletes who had done Rivers State proud. River Supers were in that mix as well. But still talking about River Supers, their head coach Oborududu and his assistant Abdurrahman Mohammed have been chosen to participate in the NBA Summer League, which will take place from today to the 22nd of July in Las Vegas. They are among 25 African coaches selected for this opportunity. Odunayo and Mohammed led Rivers Hoopers to a historic campaign in the 2024 Basketball Africa League, becoming the first Nigerian team to reach the knockout stages and achieve a podium finish. Odunayo will work with Cleveland Cavaliers coach John Blair, J.B. Bickerstaff, while Mohammed will join the Utah Jazz and coach Will Hardy. I mean, that's an opportunity of a lifetime, guys. It's pretty much the same way if you said like someone like Paul Ofo, or maybe any of the coaches in the Nigerian Professional Football League should go and understudy. Let's say Pep Guardiola, or maybe
Jurgen Klopp,
Erik ten Hag. That's the way I can pretty much look at it when you.
Yes, of course. This is a good exposure for Coach Odunayo. He really deserves to get this kind of exposure from what the campaign he had with the Rivers Hoopers at the Basketball Africa League. When you do well, you will be, you have to sit with kings, as they say.
So consider everybody known as the Kingsmen. That's not surprising.
Yes, that's a coincidence anyway. So Coach Odunayo should get more exposure from the Summer League. But I'm happier for Divine Eke because he gets to play now in front of, opportunities are so much for him there when he plays. It's a good thing that these results are not, they're not judged by the results of any team in the Summer League. So by his own individual performance, he can be able to catch the eye of big coaches from the NBA. He can get a chance, maybe.
But I'm still talking about Oborududu. He's been described as one of the hardest working, but quietest, non-obtrusive men in Nigerian basketball. And the fact that he's getting this kind of continental and global recognition is really, really good for him, Toyin.
I'm very happy I've known him for a long time, and I'm happy that he has stepped up and is easily the best coach on the domestic scene after the man at Kano Pillars that was the national team assistant coach for a long time. I've forgotten his name now.
Mohammed,
I forgot it. Abubakar something. I've forgotten his name. I'm also happy for Divine AK. We've asked a lot of questions about the impact of the Basketball Africa League. Now we are beginning to see the impact. You have an opportunity, exchange programs. You come to rub shoulders with the best coaches in the world, and then you can bring back that knowledge. But I'm hoping that all the gains will not just be a River Hoopers gain alone. I hope we can have a domestic league where these guys can come and then we see the impact of what they've been able to achieve. Divine AK as well gets there, plays a few games, and also improves himself and is able to, when you improve yourself and you sharpen your skills and you don't have any place to demonstrate your knowledge,
it's pretty much wasted.
Waste. So I hope that our domestic scene can benefit from this opportunity of the Basketball Africa League.
Wale, still talking about the domestic league, you have to commend the NBA and the BAL initiative.
Yeah.
You would really like that, major sporting codes like maybe the Bundesliga or the Premier League can replicate something like this in terms of exchange programs, helping technically, administratively, help improve, like football, other sports across Africa, because what the Basketball League Africa is doing now for basketball in Africa, I think it's pretty much unquantifiable. We might not be able to see it right now. Yeah. Don't forget, there's an NBA academy in Dakar. There are players who are also young players who are also playing for many of the BAL teams as well. I would really like this replicated across other sports. But is this a possibility?
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that this is being replicated continentally in football. But we are not going with the trend. I'll take you back to about 4 years ago. The Moroccan Federation, led by Fouzi Lekia, they had a plan, and I think 4 years ago, they had 10 coaches in Morocco go to shadow coaches like Pep Guardiola, Carlo Ancelotti. If you guys will remember,
I remember that.
10 super coaches. Zinedine Zidane also was still at Real Madrid.
Their technical department had Ocean Roberts.
And 4 years later, or about 5 years later, those coaches have started, doing well for themselves. Morocco did well at the World Cup with a Moroccan coach. He was also part of that program. There's a Moroccan coach, I can't remember his name. He won the title in the Middle East. I think it was in Saudi Arabia He's Moroccan as well.
There's also the Moroccan women's football national team.
Exactly.
Doing pretty well. Wydad Casablanca doing pretty well. Raja Casablanca,
all of these guys were part of that exchange program because they shadowed super minds like Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola, Zinedine Zidane, Jurgen Klopp, and the rest. So this is not rocket science. We can replicate it. All we have to do is go into partnerships. I mean, at the point in time, Ajay Pinnick said we had a partnership with Qatar, right? That was why we're going to qualify for the World Cup.
But yeah, I mean, what Wale has said is what we're discussing about producing the best option in the world for any country in the world
is to develop its own potential.
Talents and wait for you may not have those talents right now, but are you going to stay all your life without having those talents?
You have to
begin to plan all of these things. Apart from...
But you get the impression that Nigeria doesn't really look long-term.
But there are... Let me give an example.
Project country.
You see, the La Liga are still doing a lot in terms of grassroots development of coaches and all of that.
True.
There are still a lot of programs in place.
Programs.
These are strategic programs to develop local coaches at the grassroots. We still have the La Liga promises where you get some of the best young players. These coaches come, over technical support to you, bring some of the coaches. So many times they even bring their coaches and they tell you to bring their PFL coaches to Abuja. Yeah. So these are some of the programs that we have to be deliberate about.
No, we are not deliberate. We are not sustainable.
There was a time...
The current coach of the Spanish national team, Luis de la Fuente, has been with the Spanish FA for a very long time.
Yeah,
he knows all of these players from when they were very young.
When they were 8 years old,
So it's all about the planning, the strategy.
And I get the impression that Nigeria is not... That's where we're really...
We have to be deliberate about it.
We are not a long-term country.
I get that impression.
We don't even have patience for a long time,
True. Still looking at the Paris Olympics now, and in very, very heartwarming news, Nigerian swimmer Toby Sijuade has secured his spot at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, qualifying for the men's 50-meter freestyle event. The 22-year-old athlete will be the sole representative for Nigeria in swimming at the upcoming Games. Sijuade, a recent health and exercise science graduate from the University of Bath, has already made waves in international competition. He was part of the Nigerian team that claimed a bronze medal in the men's 4x100-meter freestyle relay at the Africa Games in Ghana. And his qualification marks a significant milestone for Nigeria swimming, as Sijuade is the 11th Nigerian to qualify for Olympic swimming events. Moreover, his achievement ensures that Nigeria will be represented in swimming at the Olympics for the third consecutive time, a first in the nation's sporting history. Now, I have to come to you for this one, because it's still, for a lot of people, especially in this part of the world, seeing black swimmers at the Olympics seems to be like magic. But we have seen them before, but they're not common. Everybody remembers do you remember that story of Eric the Eel, the Congolese swimmer who was swimming lap after lap after everybody had finished.
He was still competing.
He was still competing, but
competitors had
gotten home. But the good thing about it, the fans stayed and were applauding him and cheering him,
encouraging him.
Yeah, historically, I just want to know your take on it, Onyinye.
Okay, I did read an article coming from 2021 saying that you rarely see black swimmers because the FINA, that's the federation that oversees swimming, did ban a particular swim cap. Now that swim cap, it's only designed to cover, it's not designed favorably to cover black swimmers and their hair. Interesting. Their bushy hair, their afros, their locks. It's not designed to cover all that, but designed specifically to cover only the whites. Caucasian hair. Their straight hair, their soft, their hair that can fit into that cap. Now, due to that banning of that cap, black swimmers cannot have the swim cap, the normal one, which is meant for the white, in the water. And there are a lot of racial stunts that have been targeted against black swimmers. They cannot use the pools.
We're talking about historically, like in the United States.
Yes, of course. We did even hear about a particular white man having to throw acid into a pool because some black swimmers wanted to train. Wow. So these are little fears that have been behind the minds of some black swimmers. But looking at the Olympic Games, for Nigeria in particular, I think we have Sijuade being the sole representative for Nigeria right now. I think he's going to follow the footsteps of Opeoluwa Adebari. True. Yeah, she made a stellar performance in Tokyo Olympic Games in 2020 in the 100 meters. So the 50 meters here, he having to represent Nigeria is a good thing. But I was a bit confused at the fact that he picked his qualification just recently. Yeah. I hope he's part of the 87. I had to confirm he was part of the 87.
He's part of the 87.
Yes, but before picking his qualification.
But the interesting thing about every single person who has competed for Nigeria, assuming they are not based in Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly. See, let's just be honest.
Surprises.
Let's be honest to ourselves. These are not our pools
everywhere.
Yeah, see, I've told you. Because you have these things doesn't mean that you can be great.
Those from the Niger Delta.
No. Let's be very honest. The reason is because, Toyin, we have never been intentional with sports like this. And in this sport, there are sports that if we talked about table tennis on Tuesday. We have not been intentional about it. Swimming also is one of those sports where we have the people in the river, but we have not refined, we have not seen the talent.
But we do have facilities.
We don't have facilities.
No, we have facilities.
How many world-class swimming pools do we have in Nigeria? I'm not sure it's up to 2.
No.
I mean world class.
Olympic certified.
The one in Lagos was just refurbished, right?
No, yes,
what I'm saying is that look, she mentioned Opeoluwa Adebari. That was 4 years ago. She was 17. Where is she right now? She was 17, by the way. That means she will probably be 21 or 22 right now. Where is she right now? So we have to ask ourselves these questions. Are we intentional about these things? No, we are not.
So you have something to say?
No, I was going to talk about international federations and the programs that they put together to encourage. There was a Nigerian that was on scholarship and was almost knocking on the door of the Commonwealth Games a few years ago. They have, as Wale said, a lot of things need to be well structured and planned so that we can tap into all of these arrangements. At the time, they were telling us that the blacks don't have the DNA for swimming.
Yeah, they said our bones were too heavy.
That has been proven to be false. I mean, so we can be deliberate about it, put a lot of programs together, and tap into the opportunities. Some of these federations want swimming to develop in Africa. In
South Africa are doing well, aren't they?
Zimbabwe. You know, they have swimmers who have won, they've won Olympic medals. So there's no truth about the fact that anybody is disadvantaged. It's just the matter of the training and the planning that you put into whatever you do. So we have to be deliberate about it.
It's pretty much what we talked about earlier on about how we are pretty much
what applies to the football applies to the swimming, applies to the table tennis, applies to everything.
So I think we can all agree here now that the biggest problem of Nigeria sports is administration, lack of planning, and long-term thinking.
No willpower. We talk well, but there's no willpower to see.
So we cannot, basically we don't match words with action.
Exactly.
But I'm happy that a lot of private schools are beginning to take
the Dolphin League in Lagos.
Those are the things that we need to encourage. So that you can find out those. There are some Niger Delta. I have a friend who can stay underwater. When I was in, it can stay underwater. But some of these things you need to some scientific.
While you and I actually walk to the next street, they swim to the next village.
In Bayelsa. So some guys can stay underwater for God knows how long. They have the endurance, they can stay there, they have the stamina.
So that's what you need swimming for competitive swimming.
No, that's what I'm saying. You need the scientific
what he's saying is that they're pretty much comfortable in water.
You need the scientific touch.
I know you guys will
transform such people.
I have a point I want to make. I know, but there's this point I want to make, and you guys will agree with me.
Make it very quickly.
About 10, 12, 15 years ago, we had a generation of swimmers who came through the Nuga Games. The university games. World-class swimmers who just needed
world-class.
Who just needed exposure, who needed
brushing,
and nursing, and we missed out on all of that. Guess what? Most of them are bankers. Most of them are into accounting.
Most of them are jackpots.
Exactly.
Look, if we go to the riverine areas today, we will find some talents that we need to brush up, and they will be ready.
And we have to move on. We have to move on to international sports now. Quickly talk about Wimbledon now. Carlos Alcaraz moved one win away from defending his Wimbledon title after clinching a comeback victory over Daniil Medvedev. To reach Sunday's final, fifth seed Medvedev was attempting to avenge last year's semi-final defeat when he fell in straight sets to his Spanish opponent. But after faltering at the start of a thrilling sequel, Alcaraz soon bounced back to wrap up a 6-7, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4 victory. And in Sunday's showpiece, Alcaraz, I think he will be facing Novak Djokovic. Yes, that will be a rematch of last year's memorable final. So everybody is looking forward to that one as well. But for Alcaraz, he could become the 9th man in the Open era to retain the Wimbledon title, and it's also a chance to win back-to-back titles at Roland Garros and SW19, a rare accomplishment completed by his hero Rafael Nadal in both 2008 and 2010, and achieved most recently by the man who is facing in the final in 2020. Novak Djokovic as well. Still talking Wimbledon as well. Czech third seed Barbara Krejcova will face Italy's Jasmine Paolini in the Wimbledon final after battling back for a shock 3-6, 6-3, 6-4 win over former champion Elena Rybakina on Thursday, just hours after Paolini beat a very tearful Croatian Dona Vekic 2-6, 6-4, 7-6 in the longest women's semi-final ever at the All England Club. It was Krejcova's turn to dig deep for victory against fourth seed Rybakina in 2 hours and 7 minutes on center court. And Krejcova faces 7th seed Paolini Saturday in what will be the second Grand Slam final of the 28-year-old's career after a French Open triumph in 2021. Finally, on this part of the show, let's tell you that according to data provided by the organizing committee, over 8.6 million tickets have already been sold for the Olympic Games. And this figure surpasses the record of 8.3 million tickets sold for the Atlanta Games. Imagine, way back in 1996, it's never been broken, which until now had held the highest number. The organizers predict that the ticket sales could surpass 10 million for the Paris event, which will take place from the 26th of July to the 11th of August, and 3.4 million for the Paralympic edition, which is scheduled for the 28th of August to the 8th of September. And the level of demand and the capacity of the stadiums have been actually the biggest influence on the pricing of the tickets, with the most expensive tickets being for athletics, swimming and basketball, while other sports such as golf, water polo, rugby sevens and football have been lower priced, as pretty much set below $100. So good news for the organizers in Paris. When you look at the last Olympic Games that was COVID hit, no fans. How Japan managed to survive that, I still don't know, but the organizers in France will be particularly happy on you.
Yes, they will. It's a tourist center. So anybody who is not coming to watch the Olympic show should go for the Eiffel Tower, the place of love.
Very
true. It's a good one for Paris. This is an opportunity to generate revenue for them through tourism and through the games too. So I'm hoping they can be able to make good of it.
Okay, well, congratulations to Paris, who seem to be doing a pretty good job of putting together what promises to be a really great Olympic Games. I cannot wait for that opening ceremony, the first ever opening ceremony, March past, that will be held on the river Seine that runs right through the city of Paris. Promises to be fascinating. You're also watching Game On. We'll take a very short break. When we return, there's plenty of football to talk about. Thank you so much for staying tuned. You're still watching Game On. I still have the wonderful guys with me here in the studio. Well, we'll be talking football now. We'll start from the domestic scene, where Kano Pillars have named former Sporting Lagos coach Paul Ofor as their new head coach. Ofor was unveiled at the club secretariat in Kano on Friday. One of the youngest coaches in the NPFL, Ofor has signed a 2-year contract with the 4-time league champions. Former Enyimba coach Usman Abdullah was reportedly the leading candidate for the job, but the Seme Sugida have now opted for Ofor. Ofor masterminded Sporting Lagos' promotion to the NPFL 2 seasons ago, but he was, however, unceremoniously sacked midway through last season due to poor results, but surprisingly with the team in mid-table. And well, believe it or not, Sporting Lagos are ultimately relegated. Veteran coach Abdul Mekeba was in charge of Kano Pillars last season, but he resigned towards the end of the campaign. Toyin, I mean, you've covered the league for many years. Kano Pillars is not an easy place
at all
to coach.
At all.
It takes only the bravest of men to take up this job, and I think he probably might be the youngest. Maybe am I correct?
So.
Probably the youngest coach in Kano Pillars history.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Before Abdul Mekaba came in, I think they had one young ex-player who was.
Yeah,
was
but he was interim, I think.
Was interim? Yeah.
Okay, but interim is still counts.
Yeah,
Pele.
Yeah, but it was there just as a feeling.
Still counts.
Between two.
So, but he has to be one of the youngest.
Yeah, but Ofor is an interesting story. Rejected in Lagos, now he has a chance to show that he's one of the best minds. I think he has good certification, so it is good for him to go. Move out of your comfort zone in Lagos and Sporting. I think he's also had stints somewhere else before Sporting Lagos. But Kano Pillars
he coached in Benin Republic,
But Kano Pillars is a big club. In Kano,
this is the biggest job of his career.
This is a big challenge for him. If he goes there and he makes a success of it, then it's a big boost for him.
So much is against him. He's a Southerner. I mean, he's a Christian. It's we're talking about Kano here.
Kano Pillars have had a lot of
just to the job.
A lot of Southerners as coaches before, Christians,
but will this
foreign coaches even.
True.
Let him go there and do the job. Let the job speak.
Yes, I think the result is
once he gets the job, once he gets the job to speak for him, the fans will love him.
But can he do it though, Wale?
Yeah, this is I don't know yet until it starts, but this is almost close to Vision Company relegating Burnley and getting back. Honestly, this is the classic case, because Kano Pillars are one of the biggest outfits in the Nigerian Premier Football League. So this is big for him. I am skeptical about this.
He has to understand.
Forget about my profile here about being. I don't think this is going to work out. That's the truth.
Oh, here we go.
Because see, at Kano Pillars, you need to deliver immediately.
You need to
hit the ground running.
Let's say case as we say.
Exactly. And I don't know if he's got what it takes. But
it's a case of what it takes. We do know he has what it takes. He still play good football. But will he be given the support and the patience to deliver?
I hope he gets it, but I'm happy when managers are sacked or when they leave jobs and they return back and return in the big time. Case in point, Finidi George. Super Eagles gone and gets back. I love stories like that, but they need to back it up. But I'm happy that he's gotten this job. But Kano Pillars for Paul Ofor seems like he has quickly taken maybe 2-3 steps ahead of his development phase as a manager. That's what I think.
The issue with Kano Pillars is that they are not exactly where they used to be.
True.
Yeah.
So the fans have got no option than to be patient with him. Mekaiba had a lot of issues and he resigned even before the
Kano fans patient though.
They are not patient.
Kano
but the
2
good
seasons ago got relegated.
Yeah.
This season, they only ensured that they were not going to go down in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
So they have to be patient. They don't have a choice. He has to understand the environment. He has to. Kano Pillars is a very tricky, politically volatile. Kano is a very volatile place. So he has to understand and tread softly. Understand the environment in which you work and just Let your job just speak for you.
I mean, I don't want to. I don't think he should. I mean, his former manager, club chairman, did talk about he had issues with his squad. I think there was a breakdown in communication. So I'm just hoping that he has.
Let's be honest. You heard from the club. You didn't hear from him.
We did hear from him. We heard from.
Yeah, but
we heard from him.
But I think all of that is.
He said that was not true.
I think the results
exactly.
He said that was not true. He said that.
Maybe the results were not just coming in at that time.
But I'm really hoping that he can make a success of it, because we like to see young coaches leave their comfort zone and go and do good things.
Absolutely.
Just yesterday, we were talking about Rulani Mokoena leaving South Africa, heading to Wydad, and hopefully he will make a success of that. So that's a good success story for us. And hopefully we're hoping that Paulo Ford might follow in the footsteps of the likes of Rulani Mokoena someday and move out of Nigeria.
Let him start by following Fidelis, and then we can talk about Mokoena.
Okay, yes.
Mokoena is called the African Guardiola.
Very true.
For a reason, yeah.
Moving on from that, let's still talk about Nigeria football. Long-serving Leicester City midfielder Wilfred Ndidi has signed a new deal with the Premier League club, keeping him at the King Power Stadium until at least June 2027. The midfielder, who was a key part of the team that won promotion to the Premier League as championship winners last season, has made 273 appearances for Leicester City in all competitions, scoring 17 goals. Since joining from Belgian side Genk in January 2017, the Nigerian international has lifted the Emirates Cup, the FA Community Shield, and most recently the championship title with the club. And his new contract will extend his stay at Leicester City beyond a decade. Sporting director, it seems as if some will argue that maybe he's not ambitious. I mean, he stayed in this club for 7 years, or he might be looking for new challenges. But if you're comfortable somewhere and you're accepted, all your conditions are met, would there be any reason to leave?
If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. And it's a very key cog of this Leicester City side. I'm even surprised.
He played a more advanced midfield role.
Yeah, he played as an 8 last season under Enzo Maresca.
And he got a lot of goals.
And scored, I think, 8 goals, a couple of assists as well. It's a shame that we didn't see him, morph into that with the Super Eagles. But that's not a problem for me. But I was even surprised Leicester allowed his contract to run out. Because actually his contract had already expired in June. They only renewed in July. I had offers came from Celtic, Brendan Rodgers, we worked with as well. Saudi Arabia also came knocking, but he said, hey, he still wanted to remain in the big time, and that shows ambition from Wilfred Ndidi. So I'm happy that he's signed up with Leicester again. I think Leicester have got what it takes to also do well this season in the Premier League. But I would like to see positionally how he figures in Leicester this season. Is there a DM? Is there an 8 who boss forward as well?
But to be a key figure of that thing. But every time I talk about Wilfred Ndidi, and I'm happy that Toyin is there, every time you and I always share an interesting smile. The very first time that we saw Wilfred Ndidi, Toyin, you want to
interesting story when he was playing for Nat Boys. And they were playing the junior league. It's part of what we're talking about, putting structures together, encouraging players from the grassroots to play. The youth league was one of the key programs of the Lagos State Football Association at that time, and they were playing the youth league as a league season long. Nat Boys were the winners, and they were going to play. They were on the verge of winning if they won their last game, and they were going to play that final game one Saturday morning at the Legacy pitch. And the chairman of the club, because we've been promoting and talking about the junior league on our show on a different station, he invited us to come for the game. Early Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Grassroots competitions. Yes, that's start at 7 and end at 4 o'clock. You play a lot of games. Yeah. You play. So we got there, and Nat Boys were playing. I think they won the game 2-0 or so. And this young man was playing in central defense. At the end of the game, I walked up to him and I said, look, you are such an excellent player. One day you'll be playing for the Super Eagles. Interesting story.
I have a question to ask.
And you know the funny thing? A few years after, he was media officer.
I was media officer when he got his cap. Cap. So I walked up to him and said, do you remember me? He said, Junior League.
But guys, where is Nat Boys right now? These are the questions we should be asking. If Nat Boys could provide a mainstay like Wilfred Ndidi, where are they? I think that when you get a windfall from Nat Boys, when he went to Genk, they should be able to sustain the club.
Yeah.
Become a channel, a factory.
Become an FCB, basically.
See, it's a shame.
Something that Churchill Lisa has gotten absolutely right. But we'll be talking about that a bit much more. But gentlemen, we have to talk about one of the elephants in the room. European Championship final coming up this weekend. Spain versus England. Everybody's against England. Nobody wants England to win apart from the English themselves. But in the Olympia Stadium in Berlin,
England are winning this one.
Really?
I think they are winning this
tell us why.
I don't know how they will do it, but they are winning this one. They are winning this one.
Okay. Yeah. So why do you think England are winning?
I just think they are winning. It may not be the football. No, but I think, no two games are the same. I think the English would have enough to decode the fluid playing style of the Spanish. Just knock that engine in the middle of the park. I think they will be able to do it and get a lucky break, 1 or 2, and win.
I think I disagree with that. Spain have been the darlings of this tournament. They have been putting their front foot forward, playing attacking football. You could see prowess from Williams. That's the guy, Nico Williams, and also Yamal. So Spain have got 13 goals, 6 unbeaten
Everybody
matches.
in Spain, yeah.
I'm telling you, they are one that England will have a tough.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy game.
But Wale, you have to give respect to Gareth Southgate. He's been abused, he's been pilloried, he's been insulted, but he has led England to back-to-back European Championship finals. It is not easy.
See, Gareth Southgate embodies what international football is about. It's not about.
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
Just wait.
You know why? Because these coaches don't have enough time to be able to work with these players.
True.
So all you have to do is ensure.
He's been on the job for a long time.
He's been on the job for a long time, but he has delivered, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has delivered.
So
World Cup, semi-final.
And if there's anything I've learned in
but he hasn't
football,
won any trophy.
there's one maxim I've learned in football, especially when you get to finals. You don't play it, you win it. And that's why England.
History remembers only the winners, but very quickly,
you don't play it, you win the final.
Who wins this one?
See, I have to be very honest.
Very quickly.
I think that Spain wins it.
Spain?
Yeah.
Spain.
You're wearing red already, so I don't need to ask you that question.
Spain for me.
You said England.
2-0.
Okay, we'll see how that.
Oh, really?
England 2-0.
England 2-0.
One early goal.
Question, gentlemen. Very quickly, just before we came on, we're talking about the Super Eagles coaching situation. We have that a certain French gentleman who has had tremendous success on the African continent. He's currently in the three-way between 3 countries, Nigeria, Egypt, and now the United States of America. Hervé Renard, who a lot of African women think very highly of.
White shirt, in his white shirt.
Yes, exactly.
Good luck shirt.
Interesting question, but honestly, this name I threw this name in the ring a few months ago.
We spoke about him, yeah.
But honestly, can we afford Renard?
Toyin, answer now.
The entire budget for our sports ministry. The entire budget is what we used to pay these guys.
This guy is commanding 2 million euros every year.
In Naira, how much is that? That's the entire budget for.
It's commanding 2 million euros every year.
So you shut down everything and pay.
He made a fortune in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I probably took a pay cut to coach the French national team.
I don't think we can afford him. Unless we're able to work out an agreement with maybe corporate Nigeria, the kind of thing that Amaju did with ITO, I think, and get somebody to foot the bill. It was also the kind of thing that we did with Betty Votes and got telecoms giant Glow at that time to pay him. If we can work that kind of arrangement, but then it's a lot of money.
Okay, very lot of money. But also don't forget there's also the Copa America final again this weekend as well. Argentina will be facing Colombia. The first time ever both of them are meeting in the final. It's been an interesting competition. A bit fractious at times, of course, regarding in South American football.
So in South America
it's always
a different class.
American football.
And Argentina have been on a wonderful role. They've won the FIFA World Cup, won the last Copa America. They could defend it. Colombia also have the chance to win. I think just
Colombia unbeaten in 28 matches.
Yep.
So that means Argentina are up against it. Argentina also hoping to win so they can break free of Uruguay. I think they're in the same number of Copa America wins on 15. This is also the send-off game for Angel Di Maria as well. Maybe Nicolas Otamendi, maybe Lionel Messi also does as well. But I think Argentina are playing well, but they have to be wary of James Rodriguez. I think it's the play of the tournament for me so far, so good. And Colombia in a very good place. They did it the hard way against Uruguay. 10 men and still were comfortable, played positive football as well. So banana skin game, but I think the Albi Celeste were on the cusp, of doing what those South American side have done. That's win 3 straight continental titles. You know, Copa America a few years ago, World Cup, and now another Copa America. So they might do it, but I think Messi enough playing in front of his fans in Miami.
It's in Miami.
Yeah, that's a big factor there.
Huge Latin population.
If the game gets into penalties, Argentina will win it.
Oh wow, that's true.
Martinez.
Because of that guy.
That guy is a penalty wizard. Yeah, but it's going to be an interesting game. 50-50 for me.
50-50. Oh yeah.
Argentina, I'm sorry.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Argentina is my favorite international team of all time. Honestly,
a lot of people love to hate them. A lot of people hate to love them.
They are my favorite.
But you have to understand. You have to be the championship team.
And for all and.
Yeah, for nobody, but
for nobody and for everybody.
Okay,
but it's going to be a good final.
I totally agree. Thank you so much for joining us, Toyin Ibitoye. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Onyinyechi Obaroh, always a pleasure to have you on the show as well. Wale, thank you.
I was the calming influence.
I don't know about that. But thank you to the guys behind the scenes who also made this show particularly possible as well. But before we go, how many of you remember former Barcelona striker Martin Braithwaite? I'm sure you struggle to remember him because his career at the Nou Camp was pretty unremarkable. Just 5 goals in 44 games. But at 33 years old, the former Danish international is currently playing in the Spanish second division with Espanyol and not doing too badly. However, thanks to the income from his career, coupled with some really shrewd and smart investments, believe it or not, Martin Braithwaite is one of the richest footballers in the world. His portfolio has accumulated an astounding value of 247 million euros. And this includes real estate investments in the United States, a clothing brand called Trente, which he co-owns with his wife, investments in restaurants, and investments in tech mansions. So
this guy used to be teammates with Kenneth Omero at Leganes, and he was phenomenal for Leganes.
I hope Omero took investment tips from him.
I'm sure he did, because Omero has been doing a lot of work behind the scene because he knows he can't play football forever. But I was so unhappy when this guy went to Barcelona because they lost all their strikers to injuries. And then robbed Leganes of having this guy help them.
And they got relegated. But I hope he also has something in the works with Chris Brown, because he looks like Chris Brown.
He's not related to Chris Brown. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight on Game Morning. That's been a wonderful week of sporting action. And of course, we hope you'll enjoy the weekend action that is coming up as well. Don't forget to join us on Monday when we come with a fresh episode of the show. My name is Babatunde Koiki, wishing you a wonderful weekend. And we will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.